3 Greece police officers are suspended pending the outcome of that internal investigation. Among them, the deputy chief of operations, a lieutenant, and the officer who answered Forsythe's report of the crash that night. As Ginny Ryan reports now, those are among the steps being outlined by Greece Town Supervisor Bill Rylick this afternoon.
Doug, Town Supervisor Bill Rylick is vowing to get to the bottom of what happened after the former chief's crash and to find out what went wrong in the department as well. I can tell you the information the department gave me the day after the crash is completely different than what the DA laid out today. Town Supervisor Rylick acknowledged that and the fact that trust must be rebuilt in the Greece Police Department.
We're going to restore the trust by eliminating the breakdown that occurred, and that's in procedures as well as in personnel. And as far as the personnel, there's nothing off the table. As we said, whether it's a suspension, whether it's a termination, whether it's criminal, whatever it leads, that's where we're going to let the public know that if you have 1 or 2 or 3 people, however the number may be, that have used bad judgment, we're not going to tolerate that.
Town Supervisor Bill Rylick was reelected by a sizable margin just last week, defeating a former police officer. Now he's vowing to get more involved in police department operations. I can tell you he seemed really taken aback by what happened with former police chief Drew Forsythe. He said that Forsythe was the best police chief of all 3 during his tenure here in Greece. He said Forsythe had made some real strides in rebuilding morale in the department. Now, that job will be up to a whole new police chief. The search for that person is now underway, along with that internal investigation, which should take about 2 months to complete.
A familiar face is taking over the office of Ontario County Sheriff. Phil Povereau was sworn in this afternoon, taking back a department he led for decades. This comes as a committee investigates allegations of wrongdoing by his predecessor, Sheriff Kevin Henderson. And as 13 Web's Dan Schrack reports, that investigating could take much longer than initially thought. Dan?
Doug, it certainly could. The county administrator tells me so far that investigative committee has received thousands of documents, and with more expected, it could be months before a final report is issued. However, he says changes within the department begin today.
So help me God. Congratulations, thank you.
Nearly 3 decades after being sworn in as sheriff in Ontario County, Phil Povereau is again leading the department to what he hopes are brighter days.
It's very important, and I truly believe it's a 100% top flight organization, the Office of Sheriff, and I'm happy and humbled to be given the opportunity to come back and help.
In late 2020, the County Board of Supervisors began investigating anonymous tips of an alleged culture supporting sexual, racial, and homophobic comments. A committee charged with subpoena power later took over. And in September, Sheriff Kevin Henderson tendered his resignation.
Whether it was inadequate policies in place or just lack of adherence to existing policies, so that we can work with Sheriff Povereau to put policy changes and procedural enhancements in place to make sure that things don't happen again.
County Administrator Chris DeBolt says the steady hand of Sheriff Povereau will get the department back on course. With recruitment and retention a growing issue, Povereau says employee morale is key.
When you have a situation, you always look at what went right, what went wrong, and then from there decide what's the most appropriate way to move forward to provide as good or better a product.
To produce that better product, DeBolt says as the investigative committee identifies problems, changes will be implemented.
So we're trying to make, again, highest priority incremental changes as soon as possible. So we're not going to wait until the very end when everything is wrapped up to drop some big report with a whole bunch of suggested corrective actions.
Now, that committee meets every 2 weeks, so we could expect more changes to be implemented by the end of this month. Now, as for undersheriff, we are told the hopes are to promote within the department. We did reach out to former Sheriff Kevin Henderson's attorney for comment on all of this, but they declined our request. Doug?
hundreds of kids received their first dose of the Pfizer shot. As 13 WAM's Jane Chaco tells us, as in previous vaccine rollouts, the first group of families who signed up were eager for their children to get vaccinated.
Yeah, Doug, more than 30,000 doses of Pfizer's vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11 have been shipped to our area. They are being distributed at pediatricians' offices and clinics like the ones held by Monroe County. A busy weekend at county-run clinics where children 5 to 11 years old rolled up their sleeves.
Every time a new age group opened up or new category, it's those early adopters, the people who buy the iPhone 14 before it's out.
Dr. Stephen Cook was at the Pittsford clinic Saturday. He says it was a successful turnout. Almost every slot was filled.
The families who are coming in early are ones who've been talking about, who are very positive, who they themselves are vaccinated and want to get it rolling.
The county reports 348 doses were distributed at 4 county clinics. Dr. Cook says it was important to make kids feel comfortable in getting the shot.
So making the site as fun and friendly as possible is really key. And we constantly brainstorm and we're thinking, all right, maybe we'll wear silly hats and wear goofy long socks.
Another tool parents can use to prepare their kids for the vaccine, a message from Big Bird. The Sesame Street character tweeted he got the shot on Saturday, saying, "It'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy." Dr. Cook says parents can also tell their kids that the COVID vaccine is just like other vaccines they get at the doctor's office. Ashley Stitz says her 5-year-old is ready to get vaccinated.
He's very bright, and he really likes the science behind it. So he's, and he does know mommy and daddy got the shot, grandma and grandpa got the shot. So he's on board. He's not excited about getting it, but he's excited to have it over with.
And there are more clinics this weekend in Rochester, Greece, and Pittsford. Parents should check the website daily for openings.